Hi and welcome to another DIY Waypoint Kids session. How's your week been? Have you got wet this week? I just made it home before it threw it down at lunchtime today. How about did you hear the thunder yesterday afternoon? I wonder how many different types of weather have we had this week? I think there's been lots. So last Sunday we were discovering what we could learn from Daniel's night with the lions. Did you dare to be a Daniel? What happened? To introduce our session this week, I've got my favourite hoodie. I don't normally buy slogan hoodies, but I bought this one just as I was starting to train for my first marathon, my biggest challenge to date. I love that the T is crossed out, changing it from what if I can't do it to what if I can do it. That little T makes a big difference. In the times when I wanted to give up, and there were many, both in training and on the day, I kept reminding myself that I can do this, and if I can, I will be a marathon runner. So I've said before, I trained for 18 weeks. It took me just over 6 hours, but I ran a marathon, and I did it twice. And maybe next year I will do it again. Today we're looking at another giant of faith, Gideon. I love the story of Gideon. I think we can all relate to him at lots of points in his life. You can find Gideon's story in Judges chapters 6 to 8. We're just looking at chapters 6 and 7, so this might be one to find a storybook Bible for. It's a great one to act out together, and there's videos you can watch too. If you've enjoyed the Saddleback Kids videos, they've got a good one called Gideon's 300 Men. So pause me and come back when you've found out how Gideon became a giant of faith. There is so much we could pull out of this story, but I want us to think about Gideon's reaction when God told Gideon he was a mighty warrior and would save the Israelites from the Midianites, and then how God used Gideon and only 300 men to save them. I think we'd all react like Gideon if God suddenly told us that we were going to save our nation. Gideon immediately said, "I can't do it. I'm not strong enough. And I'm not important enough." Then he asked God to prove that he wanted Gideon to do it, not once, but twice. Gideon had to choose to trust God and to obey him. Gideon's trust and obedience is put to the test when God reduces his army down to just 300 men. I love how God does it too, by first sending home the men who were afraid, and then those who got down on their knees to drink. And then we come to the bit where God does it. In the dark of night, Gideon and just 300 men defeated the Midianites by shouting, blowing trumpets, and smashing jars. Because Gideon trusted and obeyed God, even though he didn't think he could do it, even though he was scared, even though the enemy army was way bigger than his army, God was able to do something through Gideon. So who wants to be a giant of faith like Gideon? What can we learn from him? Gideon's lesson to us on how to be a giant of faith is that when we're scared, when we're facing a challenge that seems way too big, when we don't think we can do something, if we trust God and obey him, God will be with us. God will help us. God will give us the strength, and God will do something amazing. We hope you find this week's resource sheet helpful and enjoy the games, activities, things to talk, think and pray about together. We'd love to hear your news and if there's anything we can do to help or support you. So please do get in touch and let us know how you're doing. Have a good week, and we look forward to seeing you again in another week's time.